Hello, everybody, or nobody. I'm gonna bring the chat up so I can see it here to see who all checks in. Look at that, Cody, and I can't pronounce your last name. Oh, I need one tip on you're buying your first vintage lot, huh, Cody? Hey, Doc. Hey, Gretzky. I would say, and it's I guess kind of cliche advice, but I think investing, especially the first time, invest in something that you don't mind hanging on to for a little while, something you might like. I don't know what you're into, but if you're into, say, Silver Age Batman, then get some of that to invest in because for two reasons. One, if you have to hang on to it for a long time, there's nothing bad with owning, some Silver Age Batman. And two, it's probably something you're a little bit more passionate about, and you should be a little bit more knowledgeable about. I think a big mistake that I see a lot of people making when they first get into this, and I see it at cons mostly, is they'll come up to a booth and they'll start talking to a dealer, and they just start throwing money down. They start buying books off the wall that they see, and I think a lot of times they don't know the value or they don't know the market. Say that you went out and you bought a book maybe that the movie had just ended or one of the major villains in it had just been killed off. It wouldn't be a good idea, I don't think, to invest in a book like that. You really want to hit that right between, if you're doing movie specking, when the trailer hits and when the movie opens, I find is where I get the best money. Either before or after those two events, it doesn't seem like you get as much money unless there's some kind of crazy hype attached to it. Uh, and then there's outliers that I can't explain why they're so popular still, like Werewolf by Night 32. People have been speculating rumors of Moon Knight forever, and I see the latest one is now that Kevin Smith said something about Keanu Reeves may play Moon Knight. So, I don't know. But that's my advice on that. I hope that helped. Christopher Joy, hello. Good morning. So you must be west of me. So it's not noon yet. I see KBDM. Hello. Good day, sir. Dr. Anchilla. It sounds like a lot of work, huh, Doc? Well, I don't know. It just becomes second nature to you. I usually don't invest very much in Silver Age DC. I don't know that much about it. I grew up as a kid reading DC, but Bronze stuff mostly. The 100-page specials, things like that. And then I'd say probably by 75, I was a full-on Marvel buyer collector. So I kind of lost interest in DC after that, and I really haven't gone back to it much. I do read some stuff here and there to kind of stay up. I tried to stay up with the Doomsday Clock, but I think after the third issue, there was such a long lag in between. I just kind of stopped reading it. Everyone tells me it's great, so I may go back. But right now, looking at my read pile, I looked at this morning. I think I have probably, if you count the trades in there, probably 50 things to read right now. So, and that's not including I read novels a lot too. So, um, I have a lot of reading to do. But that's good. Cold winter months are coming. Anyway, the purpose of today's it says we have two on, but I see way more than that. So I don't know. That thing's never accurate. This is going to be the last 2 Minute Tuesday. I just have noticed that the format doesn't really fit. I go way longer than 2 minutes most of the time, and it seems like that it's not as fun when you have a schedule like that. I think I like the looser, like these impromptu lives. I think I might start doing a lot more of this. Maybe just if I feel like talking about a topic, I'm going to jump on live. Generally, I'll put maybe an hour or two warning, like I did this morning, that I'll be on, and we'll go from there. But I think it's kind of run its course. I think I've been doing them, I don't want to say March, so it's about 4 months, 4 or 5 months. But I'm still going to do CGC videos with Mike. I have another one that should be dropping probably tomorrow, and then I think we're going to film another one tonight. So this one's going to be great because it's a shootout box where Mike and I have a lot of the same books in there. So those are always a lot of fun to see who comes out better on those. But that's just the general reason of it. It's not like I'm getting out of doing it or anything. I just am changing things up a little bit. I stopped doing a Wednesday night chat too as well. I think it's just a regimented thing that I don't like. So anyway, I'm going to read the chat, so this will be scintillating for you watching this on the rewind. Oh, and I'm in my office, by the way, at work, so which is another big change. I'm not going to re-up my lease at the end of August in this place, so um, if I do anything live from this point on, it'll be from a different location. Okay, Wobbles has an interesting question. I think you might have asked Nick this the other day too. You have $500 and you're going to an expo in Canada. Would you recommend buying one key grail or spreading it out over multiple books? The answer to that is yes. I would say you're going to have to go there and play the field and see what you can find. I mean, if you go in there and you see a single book that you feel is a good investment, or you feel is either undergraded or underpriced, or both, you could come out ahead. I had this to show later, but this came out recently. So a lot of dealers right now are actively combing the pages of this, the old time dealers, and they use this to price their books. So if you can get to a dealer before he cycled through his inventory and used the new overstreet prices, a lot of times you can get really good prices at cons. I don't know if I would call it a stealth buy. I just call they have so much volume that if they had 30, 40 long boxes, it's doubtful that they've gotten through all of them in that book. And they may have a show and they may still want to make money, so they'll bring those boxes and set them out anyway. So that would be my recommendation. Again, though, if you can find multiples in that $500, do it. The nice thing about the $500 thing is if you buy a book for $500 and you're hoping to at least get 30, 40, 50% return on your money, it's a lot easier to manage with one book than several smaller books. I know that I would gladly trade 3, 4 minor keys to get one big key of equal value. Say they were all of equal value. I would rather have condensed wealth than lots of little wealth. Now that changes, I guess, if you're a dealer and you set up often, or you have a store, because you're going to want to have inventory. Not everyone walking through the door is going to have $500 to spend on a comic book. They might have 150. So if you had, 3 or 4 $150 books, you'd probably get more of the guy's money. So if it were me, I would go for the higher dollar. But all that being said, I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. If you can find good deals and still get 3, 4 books for $500, that's great. I know not this year, but last year at HeroesCon, I didn't find anything really big, but I found a lot of great books in that $150 to $300 range, and those books will all be coming back. Some of them will be in the video that Mike and I are filming tonight. So it's like a Hulk 180 I bought down there, and I want to say I paid $110 for it. So and I bought them in a group. So I hope that answered that question. I didn't know this was going to be Q&A, but why not? Batman 181 is a great book. Definitely a good book to grab. Mike's taught me that. I think Mike has had 20 copies of that. Hey, Bob. See if anyone else is here, Miss Grizzy. I find it hard for me at cons to get Archies. Yeah, I think you're right. I noticed that, and I noticed I think it just comes down to dealers bring what they can sell. Now, what you may find, though, is at the larger cons, you're going to get very specific dealers. So, like some guys I know at HeroesCon, all they had were war books, or they had were like Disney and Gold Key and Archie comic things. So I think, Mr. Gretzky, if you go to a bigger con, you're going to have more luck finding someone that has a very small niche market that they kind of sit in, and you're going to have the normal guys that have everything, and then you also find guys that are just Golden Age guys that have, pretty rough Golden Age books, but they have them. So. Yeah, Doc, you're right. So wait a minute. There's Bub's Comics. Bub, who's Bub Collects? Who's this? What's going on? There's 2 Bubs in here. I think we're gonna have to have a Bub showdown, a cage match. Anyway, I picked up a couple things this week, and I'll show them real quick. I finally got issue 33 of Deathlock. This is the modern series, and I didn't read it because it's mostly based on this character here, which was Michael Collins, who was the second Deathlock. This is Luther Manning, the only Deathlock in my mind is the real Deathlock. But this was a series, I think it was 31, 32, 33, and 34 completed the story arc. And I got 31, 32, and 34, and I never had this one. And then once I realized that I didn't have 33, for whatever reason, I never picked it up. I didn't start the story, so I haven't read it yet. But this will be what I'll be reading. First thing will be this 4-issue series. Maybe do a video on it. We'll see. But that was pretty cool. Another book here is doesn't really need much explanation. Mike, I think Mike's on, so he's Lord No Prize, by the way, for those of you who don't know. This is a book I've been looking for, and the dialogue is great. The thing that's a little weird is these guys here, you got super creepy creepy faces here. But the best part are those pants, the swashbuckler boots. You just follow her eye line. I don't think I need to explain why this cover is hysterical to me. Anyway, this goes in with a whole collection of books, and I will be doing a video on that before too long that has all my, I don't know, I guess not intentionally funny covers is what I call them. This one I was just digging into boxes and I found. I'd never seen this cover before. It's a Witching Hour number 34. Got a Huck Finn looking character there taking a drink out of his jug, and it looks like he's about to have a bad evening. It's got some of my favorite parts, night cover, it's got a moon. Doesn't have a lantern, but it's got everything else going for it. So I did read this. The story really doesn't fit so much the cover, but that's okay. I think that was very common, DC horror books in Bronze Age. And then I picked up this, which is something I've never had. I've got lots of creepy books. A lot of them, actually, I've gifted to Nick and Dr. Von Chilla over the years. I've sent to them because I know they both love these things. But I've never had a copy of one, and Anthony showed it, I want to say about a month ago in one of his hauls, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick that up. So the only thing about it, it's got a little bit of a water stain there in the corner. That's okay. Got a killer Jack Davis cover. The art inside this is absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's the last Frazetta serial strip he did on an interior. I think after that point, I think he did mostly covers, but I'm sure if I misspoke, and someone will speak up in the chat and correct me. You guys are really going nuts here. I don't know, Mike. I don't either. He's got pants on, or he has stars tattooed on his legs. Oh, I'll show you those sword covers, Mike. They're really sick. Sword and spears. It seemed like they were very into the whole, phallic objects on the Wonder Woman comics. Oh yeah, Doc, Creepy One. It's gorgeous. The inside's so awesome. I love color, obviously, color books, but there's something about the larger format of the Creepy and Eerie and a couple of the other ones. Really, mostly any of the Curtis books that Marvel put out too. Warren put out a lot of good books like that, but the artwork just it's larger and it's black and white, and it's just, you can see how much more effort I think they had to spend back then with shading and things like that, because now a lot of it can be done digitally. They render it on a computer and they can fill in, so really it's almost like they're doing the outline and then they rely on the colors to do the shading. Like I'm looking at my face here on the screen and I have shade in my face. Today the penciler would just draw my face and the colors would come in and shade it. So let's see if I missed anybody else's here. Anyway, well, and then the other thing that, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. The other thing that came in this week was this wonderful thing. And it's great for prices and things like that, but I really enjoy the articles on the inside of here, and obviously the top lists of what's hot in, or top selling, I guess I should say, not so much hot, in each of the ages is pretty cool, and the ads are funny. I do like to read up on what each one of the dealers said they're, what they've been doing, what's happened. It's always interesting too to see who buys the front and back cover. Gary Dolgoff bought the inside of the front page, and then My Comic Shop has the back. So I want to say usually it's David Adams, I think, by the back. I'm not sure. I know Mike collects these, so he'll know for sure, but I usually buy them about every 2-3 years. Metropolis has the back inside cover. They're a pretty big outfit. And then on the inside, Gary Dolgoff has like a huge spread, and so does Metropolis. They have a huge spread on the inside as well. It's just funny to see these guys, and since I've been going to some of the larger cons now, I see these guys at the shows. So it's like Super World. There's Ted Van Leeuw, and it's just fun to see these guys take their ads out. I see Hake's auctions here. I've never partaken in their auctions before. I looked at them a few times. It looks like they got a lot of nice books, but I kind of remember somebody telling me that they didn't like them for some reason, and I don't remember why. There's a lot of things in here. We'll buy your comics. Yeah. Anyway, just a lot of good reading in here, and I know there's a big book, and I think that's what I'm going to get next year because this font is extremely small, even for someone with good up-close vision, which I no longer have. It gets a little worse every day. How long have I been on? Well, 16 minutes. That's not bad. That was DNA before. Yep, thought so. Discovery Bay. Hey, JB. Yeah, you're right, Mike. That is an interesting kind of thing. They did. They bought all of Dave and Adam's back stock, and then they take out the back page ad. That is kind of interesting. Probably linked somehow, right? You know, me and Mike are fortunate enough. We live pretty close to Dave and Adam's. I think Mike was up there Thursday, Mike. Anyway, Thursday, Friday. They had a big 75% off sale Friday through the weekend, I think it was. So. Yes, Doc, you're right. Hot is the term under new hate speech. Huh. That's good. I like throwing these questions out there because Mike can answer most of them. I should just have you on speed dial, Mike. So that's the state of the channel. Let me know if you guys like this, if you like going live. You know, I don't know if anyone knows. Does anyone know what's going on with Silver Age Dave? I mean, he hasn't responded to any of my videos, and he hasn't put any out, so I hope he's okay. I know he was having some health issues. I know he couldn't run for a while too, so I hope all is well with him. If anyone knows, and you know, you don't have to publicly say what's going on. Just let me know. I do have his email, so I'll probably drop him an email later. I hope everything's good with them, and you know, the rest of everyone in the community. I don't know if how many of you are planning to go to Baltimore. I know that Mike is going, and I think Anthony's going to the Baltimore Con. You know, I'm still not 100% sure I'm going. I'd like to go. We'll see. A lot of it's going to depend on how many books I can move and how big I can get the war chest. It was a lot of fun going and picking up those 2 big books that I did down in North Carolina, but it was also great just to get all the other, you know, I got a stack of, you know, great books for investment. And I think Baltimore is very similar that way. And I think the other thing you're going to get is you'll get a lot of the same dealers, but I think a lot of the guys from New York City and up, like up in Massachusetts and all through in New England, they don't really travel to North Carolina, I think, other than Ted. So I think we'll get a lot of new dealers that'll show up there, which would be great. Probably some guys from Ohio and Michigan as well. So we'll see. I still haven't made a ton of plans like that, but you know, we'll go if possible. I will be traveling. I'm leaving tomorrow night, tomorrow or Thursday morning. I haven't decided yet, but I'll be going to central Pennsylvania. So Doc, I'll be probably pretty close to you, within an hour or so of you. So if you hear a knock on your door, don't shoot and look out the window first and make sure it's me. Anyway, all kidding aside, Doc, I will be in Pennsylvania. I don't know our full schedule yet. Friends of ours got married and they're having a reception and all that kind of stuff down there. And then they live by a lake and there's boating and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be a pretty fun weekend. I don't know what my schedule is like 100%, but it'd be cool. If I had time, I could buzz by and make a house call to the Doc and see what you got going. Anyway, any other questions? Doc, home invasion. Yeah, no, that's one home I don't think you'd want to invade. I think that would end poorly for you if you invaded Dr. Von Schill's house. It would end in someone leaving feet first. Oh, you missed all this, Doc. What happened? I'm going to be in central Pennsylvania this weekend. So I looked on the map and I won't be too far from you. I think I'll be within probably an hour and a half drive from where I'll be. So anyway, I don't know my schedule yet, but uh, what I could do is once I get down there and I know where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing, my wife's going to be getting together with the girls and doing something, and I'm going to have some hours to myself. I'll shoot you a line. Maybe we could meet halfway, or I could come stop by, or whatever you want to do. But that'd be fun. It's fun to have a meetup. I also was talking about Baltimore if you missed that. So um, I don't know if I'm going down 100% yet. I think I will, but we'll see what happens. Oh, the gray man's here. Hello. I haven't heard from him in a while. I see a lot of the guys that used to be on Wednesday. There's Woody Warren. Now, Woody, do you have two separate sign-ons? Because you come in as Woody Warren, and I think you have another sign-on, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the rights and covers are all awesome. I had the shop that I went to. He's got a lot of the House of Mystery books that I want, but they're really kind of rough. I'd say they're like 4.0s, but they're ugly 4.0s. Like I don't mind a bunch of little marks, like this one has little, rubbing on the corner, and then a little dent there. But overall, it's a nice looking book. I'd say it's probably a 7.0, and I think I got this. I think he had it for like 450, so that wasn't bad. But some of the other ones he's got are really rough, and he's got like 15 to 20 some dollars on them. And for me, they're fun books, and I'm going to read them and handle them and look at them. So I really, I don't want to pay that kind of money for them. I didn't check the prices. I don't know if they're real or not. PD will destroy. I know. He's like 4 pounds of canine fury. It's too funny. Yeah, okay. All right, Woody. All right, so that's where we are, everybody. So I know there's one guy out there that his comment used to always be, "I hate 2 Minute Tuesdays." So he got his wish, I guess. There won't be any more 2 Minute Tuesdays. So his life will be complete, and his troll mission. I guess I'll have to find a new person to harass. I don't know if that's going to be my thumbs down guy or not. I didn't even check. Do I have thumbs down on this yet? I imagine thumbs down guy jumped on immediately. Oh well, doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm still going to be doing a lot of videos. Obviously, Mike will never stop submitting to CGC, so those will be coming. I plan on doing a lot more comic trips. I find that's a lot more fun. Going to places, and even if it is just like if Mike and I are going somewhere to go make a buy, it's fun. I loved making the Heroes Con video. I thought that was an awful lot of fun, putting that all together and just kind of some people that maybe don't get to go to cons or don't have the time to. It's just kind of fun. I think we kind of capture a little bit of the feeling you get when you walk into those places, and um, I'm hoping to do more of that. I will try to interview more next time, both dealers and guests that are there. Baltimore, I think, would be great for that because I looked at the guest list and it looks like they have a lot of the very popular writers and artists that you'd want to talk to. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I can interview them. Oh yeah, there'll always be a hater. Of course there will. He's right. Yeah, Doc, I do have your number. Um, there are a lot of channels out there, and it probably is really hard to keep up with everybody. And I think that's part of why I'm not going to be doing the 2 Minute Tuesdays anymore, because when it gets to where it starts to feel like a job, and I don't know for those of you who don't make videos, you probably don't know, what's this guy whining about. But if you do make videos, it should be fun. And if it starts to feel like it's a job, then it's not fun anymore. And if you're worried about the commitment, like Wednesday night was a lot of fun, but the hard part was if I had something going on in the evening, I'd have to work around my Wednesday night. I knew, okay, every Wednesday night I can't do anything because, at 7 o'clock I got to be on. And it kind of, after a while, just started to, it felt like work, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be a lot of fun. So I don't know. I think I like doing these impromptu things. Um, if you just get an idea of something, that's great. One thing that I know Nick did a video on it, but The Boys, for those of you who haven't watched on Amazon, it's free to Amazon Prime members, but it's really really well done. I never read the book. I remember, Garth Ennis wrote it. It was after Preacher, I believe, in mid or early 2000s. Um, but it's very well done. I think it's excellently cast. The kid that plays Huey is really really good. Obviously, the guy that plays Billy Butcher, you've seen in Star Trek movies and other things like that. So um, he's Carl Urban's his name. He's really good. But the whole cast is decent. But if you haven't watched it, watch it. I finished issue four, episode four last night, and I'm probably not gonna have any time now because I'm busy tonight, tomorrow night, and then I'll be going to Pennsylvania the next 4 or 5 days. So I probably have to put that on the shelf until I can get to it later next week. But I'll finish that up as well. And I think that's something I'm going to get into a little bit more too. I think is if you do watch a lot of movies and TV, it's helpful to maybe make a list of things that you think are good to watch. I know a lot of people responded when I talked about was it what was that one called? Love, Death, and Robots. It was on Netflix. It's it's not really a serial. There's I think 15 to 17 animated shorts in it, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I've watched it twice. Um, it's just really really good. Suits is a really if you watch only one of them, go right to Suits and watch that one, and you'll get a good idea of the flavor of what that series is about. But things like that. And Umbrella Academy is another good one, and I see they renewed that for season two. So that's exciting. I keep looking up because I have 9 cameras all around my shop here, so I can see all over the place. I'm like a dog. When I see a squirrel, I have to turn my head. Let me read some of these comments. Hey, Grandpa Comics. Hello. Tickets and stuff would be hot. Oh, oh yeah. Doc, I think that might be a good idea. We could organize a one-time event and bill it and see how many people show up on Wednesday night. I'm sure Nick would be into it. Nick appears to be on YouTube nonstop. I'm surprised he's not on here. He's probably filming a new series. Uh, he's the Jack Kirby of YouTube for sure. He's on constantly. That's good stuff. He's got his videos are fun because they're short enough that you can watch them real quickly. I saw 2 that he did this morning. One was where people were guessing at what a certain comic was going to end at on auction. And then the other one he did was answering questions, and it was about bidding on eBay, which was kind of fun, especially if you're new to buying comics on eBay. The advice he gave was great. That you don't want to bid early. It really doesn't benefit anyone but the seller if you throw a bid in there early. But it's another topic for another time. Anyway, Christopher Joy thinks the internet would blow up if the 4 of us got back together for a one-time show. Yeah, Nick is probably driving more books over to CGC right now. He's gonna need to get a van soon. He's sending so many over. Yeah, I think Wednesday night would be a fun thing. We should set that up. Wednesday night live or something. We could do it every now and again. Even if we did it maybe once a quarter, it would be fun. That way, it would give us all a stockpile of topics and a stockpile of books to show and tell. It was I know the last one. I think the last one we all 4 were on. And you guys that watch would have to tell me. I think it was the one right before Christmas, right before Nick signed off, where we were imbibing in cocktails. And it definitely got a little bit on the blue side there at the end of that video. Superpower Review. That's a great name. Superpower Review. I haven't ever checked. Do you have a channel where you review things and only superpowered things, or is it just comics? Or is it like powerful weed whackers? What do you review? Oh, I have a house band. That's a great idea. I know a couple actually. Dr. Red says the last one I was very I'm sorry about that. No, I think actually that drove the numbers up. Comics and statues. Okay. So you've probably seen. I only collect one statue or one character statue, and it's Deathlock statues. I think I have 5 now. Yeah, I feel for you guys about sending comics when you live out of the states. It stinks. Superpower review. I'm gonna have to check you out. I love movie and TV reviews, so um, I enjoy comic reviews too because, like Sleepy Reader, Damien, he does great new comic book things. So I pick up a lot of ideas of what I want to read by watching Damien's reviews that he does every week, and he does a new thing now too, where he'll get like 15 books or so, and he ranks them from one he didn't like at all to the one he likes the best, and uh, that's a lot of fun. I know I've picked up some stories that I wouldn't have normally read if I hadn't watched it, and then also stuff I was thinking I was going to read, and then he's just talked about it enough to where I saw, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to spend an hour reading that. So what else we got in here? Okay, you guys, it's taken on a life of its own. I always wondered if you set up these live chats and I just had a picture of that window there, how many people would come on, and then this kind of stuff would go on where it's just the chat takes on a life of itself. I can remember Wednesday nights. Sometimes it would be going by so fast I couldn't read it, especially on the Q&A nights. It would go by so quickly I'd have to scroll backwards and look for questions. I think that's why a lot of these guys that have the real big channels that have 40, 50,000 subscribers, they do that super chat thing. Part of it is because I think they want to help themselves make a living, but I think it brings it up to the top on the chat and it stays there. It just kind of floats there. So yeah, superpower review. I'll be checking you out after I end this here. Um, so anyway, I don't have too much more for everybody. I don't know for anyone tuning in. There is one guy that always points out if I either go under or over on the 2 Minute Tuesday. So yeah, I'm way well over it. We're at 32-minute mark here. So um, I guess this is enough 2 Minute Tuesdays footage to finish the year out, if we think of it that way. But I will be releasing another video either tomorrow or Thursday morning at the latest. It'll be the part 2 of the 2 boxes that Mike and I opened, and then Mike and I will be filming, I think, tonight. Mike, I'm pretty sure you're coming over. We're going to do the shootout box, which is 25 books in there that Mike and I have a lot of the same books in there, and they're really great books. It's going to be a fun box to open, I think. And that's it. That's all I have. So it's been a good run. 2 Minute Tuesdays were fun. Keep an eye out. I'm still going to do Paper Time Machines. I have everything laid out for that. I have about 20 ideas of books because as I've been going through my books, I've been picking them up, and I get that feeling where I get transported back to when I bought the book or when I read the book, and so I've set those all aside, and they all have the date and time whenever the event happened. So I'll be doing that, and then the big one I'm going to be doing is where I'm going to go back to every single location of probably, I don't know how many yet, probably 10, maybe 15 books. I'll go around to when I was a kid, roughly from like 1974 to about 1977 is where I'm going to grab these books and take you to all those places. I only think 2 of them are the same as they were when I purchased them. So that'll still be okay to walk in and do. I'm sure no one is still alive that I used to buy those from, because we're talking a long time ago. I mean, you're talking 40 some years ago. So if they are, I doubt very much they're still working in that store. I'm thinking of the guy at the pharmacy. He appeared to be in his 50s, so that would have been probably 77. So yeah, there's probably no way, one, that he may not even be alive at this point. So that's kind of gruesome. Oh, don't worry about Frankie. Frankie's still running around the house. Him and newly found Zemo are having all kinds of fun at the house right now as we speak. So more of that to come. That's just fun to goof around with. It's too much fun to stop doing it. Plus, I'm sure by now the neighbors are used to seeing it. Yep, Doc, I watched your video. That book has a lineage to it now too. 4207. Anyway, Doc, I think and for those of you who haven't seen, Dr. Von Schilla had a video where he's talking about selling some of his books. He wants to trim his collection down, similar to what I'm doing. And I think he's going to use the method that Nick used online, maybe with a little bit of tweaks. I think he's going to do more of the, instead of auction, more like a buy it now type thing. I think it's a great idea. I know I would much enjoy having people from the YouTube community having my books in their collection and just randomly selling them. I mean, at the end of the day, I need to get rid of them or I want to sell them, but I would love it if they could end up in collections from you guys out there that all watch this together, because you know, YouTube is a big place, but our little comic community isn't that big. In I don't know. It doesn't seem like to me there's many more than probably 200-300 people actually active on this. I know some of these big comic sites have 10,000 people, but I think most of those are just guys looking to get hot book tips to flip. You know, buy a book for $5 and sell for 15, and you know, they're happy making $10, which is fine, I guess. Not for me. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right, Mike. Rip, Tony, and Jim. Yeah, definitely. Neither one of them are around, and I'm not sure, but we'll find out what the location is. At the time, Mike is referring to Empire Comics. It was owned by two twins, Tony and Jim. They both, unfortunately, died of a rare form of, I think, lung cancer within 6 months of each other. So it was kind of tragic. And Heritage backed up to the main location and filled an 18-wheeler and drove it down to Texas, and everything got auctioned off. So they never really had a big sale, you know, store closing type sale, because it all happened so quickly. But they, at one point, they had 3 locations here in Rochester. So I purchased books at all 3 of them. They actually had a 4th location, but not simultaneously. The most I think they had all at the same time were 3 locations. Might have only been 2 now that I think about it. I know they had at least 4 locations, and I will visit near all of them. I bought books from all 4 locations, so I will go back to those places. I didn't really. There were no other comic book stores back then, so that would be the only comic book store that I visited back then. Most of them, it was mostly pharmacy, and you know, I've talked about a lot when I walk into a pharmacy. Still, the smell of a pharmacy still makes me feel like I want to read a comic book, because the smell back in the 70s is the same it is now. I don't know what that smell is, if it's off gassing of pills, or you know, a combination of pills and Ben Gay cream and old people, but it's that same smell. It could be a new cologne. Yeah, check out Dr. Von Schilla's. It's his latest video. So if you click on his page, go to the videos. It's the latest video that he did. I think it's a great idea. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a good idea. And you know, depending on what I do, I'm going through my personal collection now. I'm going to cull out, I'd say, 7 to 8 short boxes of great stuff. They're books that, you know, obviously I handpicked, so they're centered and they're beautiful. And I may do something on YouTube here to sell some stuff. I do like how that worked for Nick. And like I said, I do like the idea of guys in the community, guys and girls, sorry, that are collecting, can get together and do that. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Oh, hello, someone, Comic Pro just showed up. Awesome. Yeah, you know, I'll do that cheesy thing that some of the bigger channels sub each other up. Anyway, it is a good idea to sub each other up, because you might watch a video of somebody and you may pick up something. I know often I'll be watching a video and somebody will do or say something, and it's something I hadn't thought of, or it's a series I hadn't thought of. Like, you know, I never would have thought of buying this book, but now someone may see Witching Hour 34 and say, you know what, I want to grab that book. It's pretty cool. And you can start your own collection of inadvertently funny covers. Yeah, she's terrified. Look at those 2 guys too. I love this cover. Anyway, so that's what I got. So remember, life, liberty, and the pursuit of comics. Love what you have, not what you want. I'll see y'all.